Hello all, in this video we will be discussing about how to save paper in generally in government offices, but this is also applicable to wherever whoever is seeing this video, and they can implement it in their houses and offices. Since I have been working in a government institutions since 2013, what I have observed, and I want to share these few basic pointers, very simple really, but not many people think about it, and in the process we waste a lot of paper. So quickly we'll go through some points which will help especially government institutions to save a lot of paper. Definitely it will help in reducing the expenditure, but also it is help for the environment as well. So the first thing I want to tell to all the dealing assistants who are listening to this, and officers also, is that one common mistake is that we don't use both sides of the paper. So the first point is we should use both sides of the paper. Whenever we are printing, especially when we are printing a report which has lot many pages, so generally only one-sided printing is being done in offices. There are couple of reasons. It will surprise you, but it is true. Most of the offices are having the old printers which cannot print on both sides, so that is one reason. And then in such cases, the dealing assistants or the person handling the printers, they are not aware of the odd even printing pattern. How using those printers also, those old printers also, you can print on both sides. It just requires a little coordination. But since they are not aware of it, they don't do it. So wherever possible, we must print on both sides of the paper. That will save, you can just imagine, it will just reduce whatever you are using. The usage will come down to 50%. So this is the first point. The second point is to reuse the paper wherever it is possible. Reuse paper. So suppose one draft has been prepared and the officer concerned has done some changes in that. So now that basically is useless, but what you can do is the back side can be used for putting up some other draft, or just the corrected draft of the older draft, or something like that. Or whatever office copies are to be printed, that can be done on these used papers. So these used papers just go into the bin, and we keep on using new papers. So wherever possible, these back sides of the rough pages or the drafts should be used, so that maximum recycling of these draft papers can be done. So the second point shall be to reuse paper as much as we can in the within the office, within the branch itself, so that it gives great help in reducing the actual requirement of new paper. Now, the next point I want to mention is to store manuals, policies, and other documents online. Storing manuals online. Now, generally, what we see in some of the cases is that some of the PUCs, some of the correspondence, they come with huge reports. And these days now, the use of email has started. So generally, we are getting a lot of dark in emails. So rather than taking a printout, and unnecessarily, if the attachment is on 100 pages, and eventually this PUC or this basically dark has to be recorded only for information, then there is no actual need of printing the whole enclosure and just keeping it in the file. So it can be stored electronically, it can be stored online, it can be stored on the disk or something like that. So wherever possible, where we know that this enclosure has just to be filed for information purpose, and later on it can be retrieved, so basically that can be stored online. And wherever such manuals can be shared or forwarded to other departments online, or through a group email, or through the various platforms like WhatsApp also. So it should be done, and it should be preferred to send across all these big size documents through online medium, so that it reduces the need of a lot of paper. Generally we see these big enclosures which are there They are never actually, they are just for information purpose, so that information can be shared through online also, and it will save a lot of paper. The next point I want to mention is to update forms. Update forms and format. Many times what happens is that we keep on using the older formats or older form, and then when we send information, we get a reply that this is not the correct format, this is not the correct form, please send in this new form. So since we are not updated on things, and we don't make an effort to remain updated, there is a lot of to and fro communication between higher officers and subordinate officers. So this can be simply be avoided by using the latest forms, by applying the latest rules, by using the latest format. Next, I want to tell you is that yeah, point is to reduce print margins. Reduce print margins. Now, this is also a very simple thing. When you see a A4 size paper, whatever is printed within those margins, right? So if generally it is whatever is preset in the computer, the same format is being printed by the dealing assistant. But sometimes we see that maximum area is left blank because the margins are so thick, and it is not actually required to be that thick. So if you reduce the margins, the print margins in that paper, so more basically text can come in one page, and then it will eventually reduce the number of pages required for that particular draft. So that is another way of saving paper. Now, sixth point, very simple, is to use print preview. Many times we take out the printout, then only to realize, okay, this is not coming properly, this word has been omitted, this formatting is missing, this should have come on the front page, this has come on the second page. So all these things can be simply avoided by just simply using this option, which is available in MS Word or any other formatting software, which is print preview, that you preview what is it will look like after the printout comes. So if it is not suitable, if it is not according to your expectation, you can just change it accordingly. Now, so these are the first 6 points. Once again, let's go through printing on both sides, reusing paper as much as we can, storing manuals online, updating your forms and format, reducing print margins and print preview. So if you can see, and when we see all these things, these are so commonsensical and obvious things, but if we don't use them in common practice, and when we talk of big institutions, big offices, at the district headquarter level, be it secretariat level, state government, central government, so all these things, small things, become so big that if we use all those things, you can reduce tremendously your paper requirement, and it will be a big cost saving for your institution. Government money will be saved, and of course you can also see the impact of the environment will also be there. So there are some more points. So other than that, next point is to use efficient fonts. Efficient 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 fonts like Times New Roman or Arial. So if you see closely, there are some fonts which take a lot of space, where the line spacing is more, where the spacing between the letters is more. So these are basically proven to be efficient fonts, Times New Roman and Arial. So these are generally used also in our government offices, but somewhere they use fonts where the letters are so spaced very far, so it takes more pages to print out. So this is another very important point we should look at, that using efficient fonts while drafting in Word or any other format. The next point is I want to mention is that when copying for reference, reduce the size to fit 2 pages of the book or reference material into one page. So this is also another very interesting thing. You must have seen that generally wherever we have PUCs or drafts, if you rearrange it properly, if you format it properly, then everything can be fit on one single page. So why to unnecessarily add this second page? Because you have to see the larger impact. You are making one draft, but you are issuing that copy as an office to so many other offices, which will again forward that draft to so many other offices. So eventually, so many papers can be saved if you can just reorganize your draft and reduce it if possible from two pages to one page. So that kind of thing should also be done. Next point is review before printing. Review before printing. I have already mentioned you should use print preview. So you should also do a review before printing. That once again, before hitting that print button, you go through everything, each and every aspect. Is it proper? Is it not? And then only print. After printing, generally people are printing the draft and then looking for any mistakes. So why not do it in your computer? Why not do it in your laptop? So this point is very important as well. Other than that, I would also mention some other point um, to save paper. One other point is that in review meetings, we see a lot of paper being used. Generally, we see a present these days. Now, every offices we are having presentations being made. It is being projected on the screen, but still a hard copy of printout is given to everyone who is present in the meeting. So that is a total waste because the whole presentation is being presented, and the presentation can also be emailed. It can also be shared through WhatsApp groups and other platforms. So why are we doing that additional printout? So the attempt should be to have paperless meetings. Paperless meetings. All the meetings should be targeted to be paperless. If there is a presentation, it should be shared through smartphones, tablets, laptops, and it should be projected on screen so that everyone can see and discuss without having having to take the copy of the printout, because that printout is just for that half an hour, only for that meeting, and after that it's mostly wasted. So we should totally target to have paperless meetings. Next point is I want to mention is that using thinner paper. Now, this is also a very technical thing, which we generally does not come to our minds. That what kind of what thickness of paper are we using in our official purposes? Sometimes there are different type of thickness, GSMs or whatever it is called. There are various types of thickness. So for normal use, we don't need a very thick quality paper. For example, if you have to print a special DO letter or special letter in your letterhead, then it makes sense to have a good quality paper, little bit thick, which is a good quality. But for normal correspondence, for normal dark or normal letters, this normal A4 size paper will do, right? So basically we have to see that we are using the appropriate thickness in normal correspondence, because the less thick it will basically save more. It will be more environment friendly. So that you have to see for your normal correspondence what kind of thickness is being used and can it be further reduced. Another very important point is that keeping your telling your employees to keep a record of paper footprint. Paper footprint. We often talk of carbon footprint. What is the carbon footprint? How much CO2 is being emitted, and what is your carbon? When we talk of environment, we talk of carbon footprint, reducing the carbon footprint and all that. So we should tell all our dealing assistant what is your paper footprint. How much paper are you using? What attempts are you doing to reduce paper? Right, so this kind of talk, when we do this kind of questions, when we ask, they will also become basically conscious of what has to be done and what steps that they should also take some steps. So these are all small steps. Of course there can be many others, but these are the broad steps which I have seen, and wherever I have worked I have encouraged the staff of those offices to use these kind of methods to reduce the paper. And we have seen that by using these simple methods, because since the volume is so much, the consumption of paper and the amount of dark and correspondence is so much in government offices that these small steps make huge difference. So that I hope this video you have found useful, and it will be mostly very relevant for government offices where the and other offices where the volume of paper use is very high, and using these we can reduce it. Of course, the attempts should be made to move towards e-office and move towards paperless meetings, paperless official work, everything paperless. But that's of course the next step, and especially when till the time we are using paper, we should definitely try to deploy these steps, and it will help to greatly reduce the amount of paper required for the official use. I hope you have liked this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon for alerts on latest videos. I'll be also posting some other videos on office procedure, that how to make the office work more efficient, how to do drafting, noting, and among other things. So please subscribe and see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.